Those frightening moments on board a Delta flight at 39,000 feet, the plane suddenly plunging 30,000 feet. Passengers were texting loved ones saying, "I love you." Oxygen masks suddenly dropping during the terrifying moments. Pilots putting the plane into a controlled descent in the middle of all this as they tried to figure out what was happening. ABC's David Curley covers aviation.
These Delta passengers say tonight they didn't know why their jet was suddenly losing altitude. Oxygen masks mean cabin pressurization problems. Some of the frightened passengers texting their loved ones. Delta says the crew of the flight from Atlanta last night got a warning, an irregularity, and the procedure is to get down to 10,000 feet as quickly as possible where the air is breathable. In just 8 minutes, the jet lost 30,000 feet in altitude, from 39,000 feet down to 10,000, where the masks are not needed. The crew diverted the Boeing 767 to Tampa, where passengers were rebooked or took a bus to Fort Lauderdale.
Alien hunters are descending on Area 51. They're hoping for a party or a peek at UFOs, depending on who you talk to. For decades, the U.S. military base deep in the Nevada desert was rumored to be the final resting place of a crashed flying saucer and its alien crew. Now it's ground zero for a weekend of extraterrestrial festivities. It all began earlier this year with a joke on Facebook, a call to storm the base. More than 1 million people responded. But in the months since, plans changed from a raid to a music festival. 2 of them, in fact, although some fans are keeping their options open.
Are you guys going to try to raid areas?
No. Hey, if other people are doing it.
The government broke its silence on Area 51 some years ago, saying the base was used to test spy planes. But rumors have refused to die out.
Storm-ravaged southeast Texas is reeling from days of relentless rain and dramatic flooding not seen since Hurricane Harvey. Remnants of Tropical Storm Imelda caused widespread devastation in the region. At least 2 deaths are blamed on the storm. Crews performed more than 1,000 water rescues, and the effort continues.
A disaster has been declared in 13 counties. Imelda ranks among the biggest rainmakers in Texas history. Some areas got upwards of 5 feet. This right now is a live look at Winnie, Texas, where the water has overrun some neighborhoods. Janet Shamlian is reporting on the devastation just northeast of there in hard-hit Beaumont.
Tropical Depression Imelda unleashed its wrath on southeast Texas, battering the region with pounding rain and flash flooding. The devastation reminiscent of some of the worst storms in U.S. history.
Startling new developments in the vaping emergency. Another death reported, this time in Missouri. And the CDC now confirming there have been more than 500 cases of lung injuries associated with vaping. The FDA is now launching a criminal investigation. Lindsay Davis is here with the details. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning to you, Michael. Yes, as you said, this morning, Missouri officials are reporting the first recorded vaping-related death in the state, bringing the nationwide death toll to 8. The victim, a man in his 40s who had a history of vaping but normal lung function prior to started vaping in May of 2019. Now, the CDC reports the number of cases involving vaping-related illness has spiked. 530 people in 38 states and 1 territory have experienced lung injuries associated with the use of e-cigarette or vaping products, a surge of 150 cases in just the past week. And now the FDA is revealing that it's pursuing a criminal investigation into these vaping-related illnesses.
Here is the new governor of the state of Rio de Janeiro, at the helm of a police operation against drug traffickers.
The operation begins today. The chaos is over. We will put this house in order.
Wilson Witzel won his election by promising a fierce fight against organized crime. He then proposed using snipers to shoot down criminal offenders carrying rifles.
O recado está dado.
The message is clear. Do not fight the police. If you do, there are only 2 possibilities: prison or death.
The local opposition has written to the UN to denounce what it describes as genocidal policies, but it hasn't shaken Witzel.
These are the new front lines in the fight against al-Shabab in Somalia. And these are the men taking that fight to the armed group strongholds. The United States has at least 500 soldiers in this country, but it's trained and paid for Somali troops to form the Danab unit or lightning force.
Apart from our operations against al-Shabab fighters to retake territories under their control, we also target their assassins, bomb builders and those who kidnap foreigners in our country. We also try to arrest their spies and those who provide them with arms and other supplies.
Somali government officials say this elite force is comprised of soldiers from almost all of Somalia's clans. Danab units have killed some of al-Shabab's senior leaders. And in areas they have retaken from the Al-Qaeda-linked group, they are winning the support of local people.
A lingering toxic haze across the region has forced the closure of thousands of schools across Malaysia and Indonesia. At least 1.7 million students in Malaysia are affected. Malaysia has closed nearly 2,500 schools across 6 states and the federal territories of Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya. Over 1,600 of them will remain closed for tomorrow as well. Several flights have also been cancelled due to poor visibility. As for Indonesia, more than 2,000 schools have been shut across Riau and central Kalimantan, where forest fires continue to burn. At least 800 were closed in one district alone. The situation in central Kalimantan is especially dire, with air pollutants readings spiking above 1,000 at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Any reading above 350 is considered dangerous. Malaysia has offered to help fight the fires, but says Jakarta has declined the offer.
At Peririn Yatwa General Hospital, the waiting room never empties. It's the largest hospital facility in the capital Harare, and the only one where we were given permission to film. Its 1,200 beds are not enough. This hospital is particularly crowded because it suffers fewer power cuts and has at least the bare minimum of equipment. To cope with water cuts which cripple other health facilities across the country, the spokesman shows off the water tank. 2 million litres of water, a 3-day buffer. One thing he won't talk about is the medical staff strike, which over 60% of employees took part in. They were protesting against their working conditions as they earn less than €100 a month. They are now refusing to return to work as their union leader, Dr. Magombeyi, has disappeared. No one's heard from him since Saturday.
These are the images that have Justin Trudeau saying he's sorry. They're from an event in 2001 when, as a high school teacher, he was part of a gala with an Arabian Nights theme. Other images, including a grainy video, have also emerged of Trudeau in similar makeup, reportedly in high school in the 1990s. Here's his second apology in less than 24 hours.
I want to begin by saying a few words directly to racialized Canadians who face discrimination every single day in their lives, even in a country like Canada. What I did hurt them, hurt people who shouldn't have to face intolerance and discrimination because of their identity.
What previously appeared to be a dull election campaign has been energized and thrown into uncertainty.
The chilling surveillance video just released tonight of the deadly shooting at a synagogue near San Diego. The gunman seen entering with an assault-style rifle on the last day of Passover. That was in April. He killed one woman who was simply standing in the lobby and wounded 3, including the rabbi, before rushing out. And then the heroes, including a man with no weapon, chasing after the suspect who was holding that AR-style weapon. Here's ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, tonight.
For the first time, we're seeing video of accused hate crime killer John Earnest storming that San Diego synagogue with an AR-style rifle, opening fire even before he got inside. In a preliminary hearing today, prosecutors laid out their murder case in that April shooting. Among the key evidence, that surveillance video. Entering the synagogue, the shooter immediately encountering Lori Gilbert Kay. She turns to flee, but is cut down by bullets. At the bottom of your screen, the Chabad of Poway rabbi shot and wounded. Several other congregants also wounded. In the sanctuary nearby, terror and confusion take over the congregation. Some jump up from the pews and race to the door, then turn back. Then the gunman's rifle appears to jam. There, you can see Oscar Stewart in the white shirt chasing after him.